The Range Line Bridge project getting ready to enter the next phase, which means Range Line will be closed for 87 days. I'm Chris Warner with what's next in this project and how it could impact a local business.
A small group of senators say they have a bipartisan response to last month's deadly mass shootings. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. What's in the deal and if it stands a chance in Congress?
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Aubey. Authorities today arrest a second inmate who escaped from the Berry County, Missouri jail earlier this month. Berry County, Missouri Sheriff's Office says Matthew Crawford was arrested in Springfield. Crawford is the second of 3 escaped inmates to be caught. Christopher Blevins was arrested last week near Casper, Wyoming. Authorities are still searching for Lance Stevens. If you know anything about his whereabouts, you are being asked to contact police. Police have opened an investigation to determine who helped an area hit-and-run suspect elude authorities for more than a week. Saturday night, Independence, Kansas officers arrested Brian Metzger for suspicion of attempted murder. Now, authorities accuse Metzger of intentionally hitting another man with a car on June 2nd. Authorities had arrested 2 people for felony interference in this case on June 7th. Police say they're now seeking search warrants to gather more evidence and expect to make more arrests. Work is progressing on the Range Line Bridge project in Joplin, which means a major traffic shift is about to happen. That shift could impact more than just your drive. KOM's Chris Warner explains.
A year ago, we told you about the project to replace the railroad bridge on South Range Line in Joplin. Work is underway, and on July 18th, this portion of Range Line will be closed.
Then it'll be closed up to 87 days. And right now, we're finalizing some of the permitting with the railroad, moving the last couple of utilities.
87 days is a long time, but MoDOT is offering incentives and penalties to the contractor to keep the project on schedule.
Yeah, if they go beyond the 87-day range, it's $20,000 per day for each day they go over. And there's also an incentive of $20,000 per day for each day they finish early.
The bridge itself is just no longer able to support the volume of traffic it sees.
Yeah, the bridge it's an old bridge. It sees a lot of traffic. It's in poor shape. It's becoming more and more of a maintenance issue for us to keep it going. And so the time comes when it becomes more financially responsible to just go ahead and replace the bridge and to keep doing maintenance, constant maintenance on it.
Stephen St. Clair is the president of Import Warehouse. A year ago, he had concerns about the project and the impact it could have on his business, and those concerns are still there.
You know, about 90% of my business comes from the northern end of Joplin, Webb City, Carthage, Carterville area, Carl Junction. So it's going to be a big impact. Hopefully they're going to let me have some access to the street in front of me, but people are just going to have to learn how to loop around and detour to me.
Detours will be posted for traffic along Missouri 249 from 7th to 32nd. For St. Clair, that detour is in the wrong direction.
There's no easy way, unless you know Joplin. You know, Connecticut or Davis Boulevard are your 2 options, but it is going to be difficult. We do have plans with our advertisement to kind of help show people from out of town how to get to us.
St. Clair adds they've made other changes beyond advertising ahead of the closure.
It's going to affect business. I mean, we're doing our parts. We've kind of slowed down on some of our orders, anticipating it.
St. Clair says he understands the project is important and must be done. He just wishes there were easier ways to do it. In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
MoDOT says the road is scheduled to reopen on November 1st, which is, of course, ahead of the holiday shopping season, although some other cosmetic work may be ongoing. Another future project is in the works in Joplin from MoDOT. The department is taking public comment for work on 7th Street from Schifferdecker to Rangeline Road. The work is slated for the late 2024 year and could include things like pavement improvements, traffic flow improvements, also sidewalk improvements. Officials with MoDOT say this project is a bit different than most.
We want to hear from the public, and we really do want to hear your ideas and your suggestions to incorporate into this project. This is your street in your town. You live here and you drive here, so you should have some say-so in how the project goes.
MoDOT has set aside about $30 million for this project. Meteorologist Nick Kelly joining us now. First look at the forecast. So important to drink water these days, Nick.
Absolutely, and the numbers today certainly add to that good suggestion, Jordan. Even though we had quiet skies all day long and all evening long, It took us from the upper 70s this morning, the highs near 95 degrees this afternoon. And with the humidity, we had heat advisories in effect, but most of them expired by 8 o'clock. But for areas to the north, St. Clair County, Lynn and Bates County, those are going to continue again for Tuesday because it's going to stay very warm for our very far northern counties during the overnight, not to mention hot and humid again tomorrow. All because of this big blue H upstairs. For us, even though we don't have a lot of heat advisories, we're only dropping back into the upper 70s tonight and then back in the lower 90s with maybe a little bit of a lower humidity, Jordan. I do have rain chances in the forecast, but we'll see if it can scrub some of this heat out here in a few.
Thank you. Thank you as always. With these high temperatures, it's important to not stay outside for too long to avoid health issues like heat stroke. To help, City of Joplin is opening cooling stations to the public. Those locations include City Hall, the City Health Department, the Dr. Donald Clark Public Safety Center, and the Joplin Athletic Center. They're open from 8 in the morning to 5 p.m. on weekdays. You can find a map of the area cooling stations on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Out-of-control fires are scary. I think most of us would agree on that. A fire at a gas pump, extra scary. I also think many of us would agree with that. Just before noon, officials responded to the Harps grocery store and gas station Airport Drive. They say a pickup truck was fully engulfed in flames at the gas pump right there. The fire was under control in a couple of minutes, and officials say thankfully no one was injured. Thanks to a Carl Junction veteran, a stretch of Highway 171 is now named to honor those who served. Missouri legislators in May passed a bill to name a stretch of highway as the Atomic Veterans Memorial Highway. U.S. Navy vet Clayton Crosby worked for years to push for legislators to pass the designating of the highway. The National Association of Atomic Veterans was formed back in 1979 for the purpose of allowing the atomic veterans community to speak.
There are quite a few atomic veterans in the Joplin and Pittsburgh regional areas, and so this is something that will be a reminder because we don't want to forget the sacrifices they made during their time in service.
Crews are still working on the official signage for the name change. Bipartisan group of senators announced over the weekend they had reached a framework deal to combat gun violence, but the modest deal isn't getting great reviews from some. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with more.
Senators say they are one step closer to passing a bill following deadly mass shootings last month.
For the first time in a long time, the Senate has a path forward on legislation that will save lives. Make no mistake about it, we have a lot of work left to do before we actually pass a bill.
The framework deal put together by 10 Republicans and 10 Democrats would close some loopholes. It would enhance the background check process for gun buyers under 21, incentivize states to adopt or strengthen red flag laws, and it would fund more mental health services and more school safety programs. It would not raise the age limit to buy nor ban AR-15 style rifles nor large magazines.
We need to embrace the art of the possible. That's what politics is about. We won't get what we want. We won't get everything that I've supported or that the Democratic caucus has supported, but we are going to make progress here.
The framework is only a deal at this point and not finalized legislation. There is no guarantee once the bills are actually written that they will be able to get 60 votes in the Senate. It would also have to pass the House before reaching the president's desk. Some Democrats say the bill goes nowhere near as far as they want.
I'm not really interested in doing something for show for the American public. I'm really interested in passing a solution for the American public.
The Senate leader wants the bill on the floor as soon as possible. Senators leave for a 2-week vacation on June 24th. That is exactly 1 month after the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Second round of the January 6th hearings is underway today. The committee says today's hearing is laying out evidence of an alleged conspiracy led by former President Trump to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Former Fox Digital politics editor Chris Steyerwalt and conservative Republican election attorney Ben Ginsburg were among those testifying. Ex-Trump campaign manager Bill Stepien did not testify because his wife was in labor, but the panel showed a video of his closed-door interviews. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. Charles Hartong served in the U.S. Navy from 1952 to 1956. Native of Girard, Kansas, Hartong spent time in Japan, and we are proud to thank Petty Officer 3rd Class Charles Hartong. He's tonight's four-state hero. Nick Kelly's next with a complete look at the forecast and later. Joplin Outlaws hosting a 2-day youth baseball camp at Joe Becker Stadium. Gonna have the story in sports.
Needless to say, it was hot and humid once again, and just like yesterday, in terms of how it unfolded temperature-wise, we just did it again. We could not barely get out of the 80-degree mark throughout the course of the overnight. After we had mid-90s the other day, near 80 this morning, maybe a couple spots in the upper 70s, but everybody pushed right back into the mid-90s today because it's the same weather setup once again on repeat, and mostly sunny skies throughout the day. So it was nice that it was dry, but all the heat and humidity pushed feels like temperatures well into the triple digits. So that's why we had heat advisories out earlier today. They've gone away, but for Lynn, Bates, and St. Clair counties, they'll go back into effect again and to expire by about Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. It looks nice. Don't get me wrong. It certainly does from 7th and Range Line, but it's 84 degrees. It's still warm. It's still muggy with a dew point of 74, making it feel like 91 degrees outside. Everybody's still mainly in the mid 80s. But you factor in those dew points, it feels like either you're near 90 or some spots still trying to feel like it's in the mid 90s at this point in the night here on this Monday. At the very least, we don't have any threatening weather immediately on the horizon. Any big storms working across northeastern parts of Indiana with a warm front. But I'm watching this cold front out west, but that won't start to make a play toward us until we can get this upper level ridge to shuffle around and weaken a bit. Once it does, this upper low coming across the northern Rockies, that's going to push the front our way and potentially some rain chances. We're not talking about big rain chances, but for some, that could be enough to temporarily scrub out some of the heat and humidity. But everyone's quiet as can be, except for maybe the strong south wind that'll keep going throughout the night, only allowing us to drop back into the upper 70s, by the way. And we just go back into the heat once again. A little bit cooler tomorrow and a little bit of a drop in the humidity, but still 78 in the morning, 88 by noon, topping out near 93. And we'll just do it again for your Wednesday. We'll start out in the mid to upper 70s Wednesday morning and then right back into the lower 90s. I did mention, though, we do have a bit of a drop in the humidity. It's not a big drop, but we'll take it, especially if it gets us away from 110, but it'll still feel like the mid 90s to near 100 as we go into Tuesday afternoon, and same numbers again as we go into Wednesday. But Wednesday evening, though, the front coming in could spark off some thunderstorms. We'll see if we've got a chance for some of these to come on in. That's why I have a slight chance for thunderstorms going into late tomorrow night and potentially again on your Thursday. If any of those can try to get in, I am not expecting them to be severe, but it's something that we'll still watch. And that front hangs around as we go through Thursday and Friday. So slight rain chances with that. And it's only going to allow us to drop back and, if not hold steady, in the lower 90s for highs. But I'll tell you what, those muggy nights, mid 70s for Wednesday morning, Thursday, and Friday morning. Hopefully with a little bit more weakening of the ridge, Jordan, we can get the highs back near 90 for the weekend and at least lows back near 70.
It is amazing how much your body needs and uses water during days like today. So again,
no kidding.
It's important to drink that water. Hey, Kelly, seen a little bit. Thank you so much. If your signal of KOAM or Fox Sports team becomes glitchy this week, don't worry. I know it's frustrating. It's also a sign of progress. We're going to be broadcasting from a lower temporary antenna while a crew installs a new, more technologically advanced antenna at the top of our tower. It's the final step in our More Power project. This is going to allow some viewers who previously lost our signal to get us once again. If all goes to plan, we're going to be back up and stronger than ever by the end of June. Coming up, the high costs of nearly everything.
White-hot inflation is crushing consumer confidence. I'm Grady Trimble with Fox Business. I'll have the full story coming up.
Shocking inflation numbers are crushing consumer confidence, and this could push the Fed to more drastic moves. Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble has this story.
Americans are in search of relief as consumer prices hit a 40-year record. But confidence that the White House or the Federal Reserve can course correct is running low. Moms across the country are sounding the alarm on the rising costs of raising children.
Inflation needs to be top priority because moms and families are hurting, where they're struggling, and we need instant relief.
Drivers aren't the only ones unhappy with high gas prices.
One Minnesota gas station owner put up this sign that says, "We hate our gas prices too." The national average for a gallon of gas is now over $5.
It's painful to go to the gas station, and I think we're all just feeling that.
I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, and everyone needs to brace for that.
To get to school and home every single day, it's costing us $115 a week.
All of this amid the hotter than expected reading on the Consumer Price Index for May. It raises concerns that the Fed could step up its attempt to contain inflation with higher interest rates, and some say a recession is on the way.
Given where we've gotten to, it's more likely than not that we'll have a recession within the next 2 years.
A survey from the New York Fed shows consumers think the cost of food, healthcare, rent, and tuition will fall over the next year. In Chicago, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
Still ahead, going to hear why Missouri is not going to be enforcing any new federal gun control laws. Oklahoma legislature returned today for a special session to consider tax cuts Governor Kevin Stitt wants lawmakers to consider eliminating the state sales tax on groceries and reducing the individual income taxes 0.25%. They're also going to discuss how to allocate federal COVID-19 relief funds that were part of the American Rescue Plan Act. It's not clear, though, whether the GOP-controlled House and Senate have the votes to approve of both items. Told you earlier about a bipartisan push by federal lawmakers to pass gun control measures. It's Joe Hickman reports that also could result in the first major test for Missouri's Second Amendment law.
Over the weekend, 10 Republican U.S. senators, including Roy Blunt, joined 10 Democrats in a bipartisan agreement on a series of gun violence measures that some are calling the most significant legislative attempt to address the problem since the 1990s. The plan, which still faces congressional approval, would give incentives for states to set up red flag laws that would allow courts to take away guns from people deemed dangerous. It would also make major investments in mental health, suicide prevention, and school safety, which was Blunt's key point of support. It would prevent domestic violence offenders from purchasing guns and would set up a mandatory review of juvenile and mental health records for gun buyers under the age of 21. But considering the deep partisan division over gun measures and the political stakes involved, Tom Carver, a Springfield attorney for 50 years and member of the U.S. Supreme Court Bar, says the only thing to be sure of is
there'll undoubtedly be lawsuits filed.
And Missouri could very well be right in the middle of it, because last June the state enacted the Second Amendment Preservation Act that bans state and local police officers from enforcing any federal laws that go beyond state statutes.
And at the end of the day, you can really only serve one master, and our local law enforcement has one law to worry about, and that is Missouri law.
It's very obvious that this is stupid, frankly, but all to make a political statement of, hey, we're Missouri, we value our guns.
Several gun advocacy groups rank Missouri among the most lenient states in the country in terms of gun protection laws. As in the Show Me state, a license is not required to buy or own a gun. There are no state-required background checks or registrations. You can conceal and carry without a permit, and there are no ghost gun regulations. So, Carver expects Missouri to be taking any new federal gun laws to court.
Some politicians will be involved in litigation just because they think it's a good campaign move for them. There are others who will consider it is too restrictive for the gun culture in Missouri.
And when it comes to finding a reasonable solution for both sides,
reason may have left the room a long time ago.
Gonna have to make plans to go to the moon if you want to visit a new car rental place. Look at all that. More on this next. General Motors is expanding. The automaker is launching a program that's going to act like a car rental service on the moon. After teaming up with aerospace company Lockheed Martin to develop a line of lunar mobility vehicles for manned missions. Vehicles are going to have autonomous driving capabilities, be able to carry humans and gear while traveling across the moon's surface. Isn't that cool? GM spokesperson tells Fox Business the plan is to send the vehicles to the moon before a manned mission, then lease the vehicles out to different expeditions from the U.S. and other nations. The lunar rovers are going to be solar powered, have a lifespan of about 10 years. The first gen is slated to be complete by 2025. No word on how much it's going to cost to rent these things. You know, it can get expensive, to rent a car these days. Astronomical or out of this world. You laughed. You didn't laugh. I didn't even get a thing from Peyton, my producer, saying, good jokes, Nick and Jordan. Thanks, Peyton. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
The Greenbush Summer Kids Camp is encouraging their campers to step outside of their comfort zone. I'm Jalen Banks with more on the story.
I'm Will Nunley in Nashville. I'll have that story coming up.
It's the same story all over again. It was hot, it was humid yesterday to wrap up the weekend, and those numbers did not change at all. To kick off the new work week around here, we went from highs in the mid-90s the other day, high humidity, back only near 80 degrees this morning. So we couldn't get much relief during the overnight hours since it was so warm and muggy, and then right back into the mid-90s. And humid again, pushing heat indices well above 100. That's why we all had to deal with heat advisories, even a couple heat warnings, excessive heat warnings for parts of northeast Oklahoma. Those have expired. Still going to be hot and humid tomorrow, but dangerously so still for Lynn, Bates, and St. Clair County in our far northeastern counties. But again, I want to stress to everybody, it's going to be another hot day for tomorrow before maybe some rain chances could try to temporarily scrub out some of this heat and humidity. But it's still warm and muggy out there. 84 in Joplin, feels like 91 with a dew point of 74. Everybody is in the lower to middle 80s. That's your air temperature. Those dew points still up there. What else can you say? This still feels like the lower to middle 90s out there, and we're just about past sunset, so gives you a good idea. It's another warm and muggy night ahead of us, but no threatening weather in the short term. Any big storms working through Fort Wayne, Indiana, northern parts of Ohio with that warm front. This cold front, though, I want to watch as we go into the middle of the week, because once we can get this upper level low to start working along the northern parts of the country, that's going to push the front closer to us. Until that happens, though, it's all about the big blue H upstairs. Even though it's off to our southeast, it is still in control of our weather setup. So that means take today's weather, do it all over again tomorrow, like it or not. We will keep skies quiet. A south wind, though, keeps us warm and muggy, with lows dropping back into the upper 70s. Maybe a few spots still trying to drop back close to 80 if you can. Everybody, though, is looking dry for tomorrow, but still a bit hot. 78 in the morning, 88 by noon, highs near 93. Then we'll just do it again for Wednesday. A warm and muggy start for your Wednesday morning, and then back in the lower 90s again. But at least we're edging a few degrees cooler on the thermometer, and we're seeing a little bit of a drop in the humidity. That's helpful, but it'll still feel like the mid-90s to 100 as we go into Tuesday afternoon. And same story again as we go into Wednesday afternoon. Then that cold front, it'll start knocking on the door in our far western counties by Wednesday night. Some of these storms may have a chance to try and clip parts of the area, collapsing as they do. I want to keep an eye on that, so I want to watch for at least a slight chance for some of those storms to sneak in here, at least late on your Wednesday night. All because of this upper level ridge again, weakening a bit, allowing that front to park itself nearby. So we'll watch for some slight thunderstorm chances Thursday and even on Friday. But that front washes away by the weekend, and then the upper level ridge will keep the heat around, for lack of a better expression. 93 tomorrow. Lower 90 is easy to say for highs for the next several days, Jordan, including Father's Day. But hopefully by the weekend we can get highs, or lows rather, back near 70. Other than that, goodness, warm and muggy nights, hot and humid days.
Yeah, and like you said, that humidity by itself is bad, and the temperatures are bad too on top of that. So, Dick Kelly, thanks so much as always. Coming up in sports, the Cardinals pitcher making his first career start tonight against the Pirates, plus busy day for the Joplin Outlaws. Begins with youth camp this morning at Joe Becker Stadium. Jay Leonard has that and more after the break.
Today is a busy day for the Joplin Outlaws. The Outlaws hit the field this evening against the Jefferson City Renegades, but first, the team was up early this morning hosting their annual youth camp at Joe Becker Stadium. Now, around 70 local youth baseball players showed up today for day one of camp. Now, those athletes spent the day working on fundamentals of the game with both Outlaws players and coaches. Now, for the team today, it was all about passing on their love for the game and giving back to the fans that come out and support them every night.
I really do hope that they take away the sense of just joy of being with these kids. You know, at their age, they fell in love with the game at this time too, so I hope they take it seriously and they help these kids out.
That's why we're scooting back. We're going to use our legs, all right?
The city of Joplin does a great job of supporting us, and then we got to do our part and give back.
On me, balls on this side, balls on this side.
I'm from California, so it's different out there compared to over here. But I mean, it's real nice to get to connect with all these kids and just see how
how their lives are and help them, try to aspire to play baseball.
At 9 a.m. at Joe Becker Stadium, all kids 12 and under, by the way, get in free to Outlaws home games. Now, to the game tonight against Jefferson City. Outlaws hosting the Renegades after being on the road last night. It's been back and forth all evening long, but Joplin leads it 11-8 in the bottom of the 7th. Former Pittsburgh Purple Dragon Caden Bressler is 3 for 4 on the night with a double and 2 RBIs. In the major leagues, the St. Louis Cardinals open a series tonight against the division rival Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, the Cardinals are fresh off a series win over Cincinnati, taking 2 out of 3 against the Reds. Lefty Zach Thompson gets his first career start this evening for St. Louis. The Pirates jumped on him early. Diego Castillo hammers a solo home run to left. Pittsburgh with the H goes up 1-0. They would score 5 on Thompson in the first 5 innings. Then the offense gets going. In the 6th, Brendan Donovan to the right field corner, 2-run double. Cardinals on the board. They are within 3. In same inning, Dylan Carlson with runners on the corners ties the game up. Homer out to right center makes it 5-5. Right now, the Cards lead at 7-5 in the top of the 9th. As for the Kansas City Royals tonight, they're on the road against the San Francisco Giants in a 2014 World Series rematch. KC aiming for its 4th win in 6 games. Right now, it's a good one and is still going, tied 2-2 in the bottom of the 3rd. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news right after the break.
This is your news update. I'm Jordan Aubey. Authorities yesterday arrested a 2nd inmate who escaped from the Barry County, Missouri jail earlier this month. The Barry County Sheriff's Office says Matthew Crawford was arrested in Springfield. Crawford is the 2nd of 3 escaped inmates to be caught. Christopher Blevins was arrested last week near Casper, Wyoming. Authorities are still searching for Lance Stevens. If you or anyone else know anything about his whereabouts, you're being asked to contact police. A portion of Joplin's Rangeline Road is set to close in just over a month. Work has been progressing on the bridge project near 29th Street. The work is to replace the railroad bridge with one that's higher to accommodate trains. The new bridge is going to also include sidewalks. Crews have been working to relocate utilities around the bridge, and on July 18th, the bridge will close to traffic.
It's an old bridge. It sees a lot of traffic. It's in poor shape. It's becoming more and more of a maintenance issue for us to keep it going, and so the time comes when it becomes more financially responsible to just go ahead and replace the bridge.
MoDOT says the road is scheduled to reopen on November 1st ahead of the holiday shopping season, although some other cosmetic work may be ongoing. Another future project is in the works in Joplin from MoDOT. The department is taking public comment for work on 7th Street from Schifferdecker to Rangeline. The work is slated for late 2024 and could include things like pavement improvements, traffic flow improvements, and sidewalk improvements. Officials with MoDOT say this project is a bit different than most.
We want to hear from the public, and we really do want to hear your ideas and your suggestions to incorporate into this project. This is your street in your town. You live here and you drive here, so you should have some say-so in how the project goes.
MoDOT has set aside about $30 million for this project. We'll be right back. This might make your skin crawl. In an effort to help make humanoid robots appear more human, scientists overseas are unveiling their latest invention. Fox News correspondent Ashley Strohmeyer has a look at the living skin that could soon be used to cover metal robots and how it could change the types of jobs we use them for.
Robots are already being used across the country to make and serve us food, clean up messes, and deliver items at hotels, and even transport warehouse objects and work on assembly lines. But when it comes to more personal lines of work, like healthcare and customer service, researchers in Japan say people prefer their robotic helpers to look more human. And they may have a solution by creating living skin.
I think we've made accomplishments this time by making the robot's physical appearance even more human-like.
Using collagen and a type of cell found in skin's connective tissue, scientists at the University of Tokyo have grown human-like skin on a robotic finger. And while some robotic companies are using artificial coating that resembles skin, because this one is made with real cells, it not only feels like skin, it acts like it too.
The presence of living cells means that the robot can be given functions unique to living cells, or biomaterials. The wonderful thing about biomaterials is that they have various capabilities, such as self-repair, splitting, proliferation, highly sensitive sensing.
Besides being flexible and self-healing, the skin is also water resistant. And researchers say the highly specialized coating can advance the types of jobs robots are used for. They even hope the skin can be used to cover prosthetic limbs for people in the future. Going forward, scientists also wish to incorporate nerves into the skin to increase its functionality, adding it could allow the robot skin to be used in medical and cosmetic testing in place of animals and people. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
Coming up, preview of what's coming up on Fox this week. Special father-daughter Beat Shazam episode. MasterChef back to win, face their first elimination round. All that and more is coming up on the Fox TV lineup. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Fox competitions bring new rounds of singing, dancing, and cooking. Here's what's hot on Fox.
All right, Steven!
Monday sing-along with Don't Forget the Lyrics, hosted by Niecy Nash, as contestants test their musical memory for the chance of winning $1 million. Then it's a father-daughter episode on Beat Shazam, hosted as always by father-daughter duo Jamie and Corinne Fox, as contestants there go for $1 million with their song title guesses.
What are we making?
Tuesday starts with a replay of Guess What Was Made Here? Crime Scene Kitchen. That's followed by a replay of I Can See Your Voice with celebrity detectives deciphering good from bad singers without hearing them sing.
The standard's up there.
Wednesday, MasterChef Back to Win features the first elimination round of the season. All 20 chefs are tasked with cooking something inspired by the dish which originally sent them home last time in the competition. That's followed by the first studio show of the season on So You Think You Can Dance.
I'm so sorry, lady.
Thursday, Chef Gordon Ramsay hosts MasterChef Junior, the road to the finale, recapping this season's biggest moments. That's followed by another replay of Don't Forget the Lyrics. Matchups and SmackDowns take the spotlight with WWE Friday Night SmackDown. The weekend brings the comedy of animation domination, and the following week mark the calendar for the big MasterChef Junior Season 8 finale. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with video of the 25th annual Purina Pro Plan Incredible Dog Challenge and Surf Competition in California. You go, dog. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.